Get in the know. Non-stop Vikings talk. It's Purple Daily on Score North and ScoreNorth.com.
Football.
It is time to make some picks here. Judd Zolgad, our guy Declan, with the Vikings playing on Monday night, taking a little bit of a long weekend here. We are here to make predictions into the future for Monday Night Football, to tell you what's going to happen between the Vikings and the 49ers here. Do you like when the Vikings play on Monday night?
Not especially.
It's a lot of waiting around, you know.
I like my football on Sunday. I really like it on Sunday at noon. Maybe 3 now, but yeah, Mondays are long then, because to your point, you wait for the game all day. And so, yes, I am not a huge fan, but I appreciate the spotlight. Like it's a big spotlight. So, yeah. And I think it's fun for a lot of fans. So that's good too.
Yeah. So we will we'll get into our official picks here. Declan has sent them in via text message. I think he got hit with food poisoning a couple days ago too, he said. So it's kind of a rough way to spend a couple off days.
Comment.
But 49ers and Vikings, before we get to what like the picks are, what the sharps are saying about this game, what are you most confident about on behalf of the Vikings in this game?
Okay, this is going to be perhaps a cop-out. I don't know, but I'm just confident about it. I am confident that Brock Purdy is going to see a ton of blitzes. Brian Flores has done nothing to make you think he won't. And I think Brian Flores is going to, and especially if Debo and McCaffrey don't end up playing, but I think Brian Flores looks at Purdy and says, you know, he certainly had his issues against Cleveland. He's been really good, but he's young. And Brian Flores has shown no hesitation in blitzing really good QBs, including Justin Herbert, who sort of picked him apart. So I am confident that the Vikings defense is going to get after the young man, Brock Purdy.
You know, oh man, I'm not confident in a lot of things. So this is tough.
Fair.
I think I'm most confident in the fact that the 49ers haven't won a game in Minnesota since 1992. So there's just something about the football gods sometimes just shine a light on the Vikings when they play the 49ers. I was kind of shocked when I saw that statistic too. It's like, really? I mean, because there were some like damn good 49ers teams in the 90s, and then obviously in the last like 10 to 15 years, they did play the 49ers right before they took off as Super Bowl contenders in 2009. They were like a feisty team with Mike Singletary and Alex Smith. And they did the Brett Favre and company. That was the Greg Lewis game, wasn't it? Against the 49ers.
Oh, yeah.
In 2009.
Yep. That was a great game.
So I guess there's something about the Niners traveling up to the Great North, couple hours different time zone, that the Vikings have had their number inside the Metrodome and US Bank Stadium dating back to 1992.
Mm-hmm.
What scares you the most in this game from a Vikings perspective?
Oh, boy. You know what I think scares me the most is if the Vikings offense looked as bad as it did without Justin Jefferson against the Chicago Bears. The San Francisco, like I know San Francisco has a lot of really good skill position players on offense, some of whom might not play. But the point is, you know, I feel like that gets a lot of focus. But this defense is good, too. It's really good. Mm-hmm. And I think what scares me is if you had that much trouble operating against the Bears, I'm sure you're going to do things differently. But I'm much more, this sounds so weird because I didn't think I would say this necessarily during the course of this season. I'm far more scared about what's going to happen to the offense, I think, than the defense right now.
Yeah.
So that's what scares me the most. What scares me the most is if you were 2 of 13 on third down against the Bears. You had 2 first downs in the entire second half against the Bears. San Francisco is really damn good on defense. That does scare me.
Yeah, I think this is not to put it all on Kirk's shoulders because there's a lot of factors in this game, but I think what scares me the most is we saw a glimpse of a Justin Jefferson-less Kirk Cousins-led offense.
Yep.
And it's one game, but it was against the worst passing defense, like you said, in the NFL, and he couldn't get it done through the air. They had 0 passing first downs. They had the 2 first downs you mentioned in the second half. 0 passing first downs in the second half against that bad defense.
Yeah.
And now you're getting an upgrade here coming to town. So I think what scares me is I don't think Kirk Cousins can make anyone else a star. I think Justin Jefferson has helped Kirk with the fourth quarter comebacks, and Kirk has been a good, accurate quarterback for Jefferson too. But when you don't have that number one weapon, and the offense has been kind of sputtering, is Kirk Cousins the guy that's going to rise up and say, you know what, I got this. I'm going to go. We talked about this, a couple days ago on Purple Daily. Brett Favre said, you know what, Sidney Rice, you're going to be a star now. He also said it with Javon Walker and Donald Driver. Tom Brady said, Julian Edelman, Wes Welker, you guys are going to be stars now.
Right.
It happens across the league. Tyreek Hill leaves Patrick Mahomes. He says, okay, who wants to be a star? Someone's going to, maybe it changes from game to game. I mean, Kirk hasn't shown that ability. And you can probably still lose this game and go on a run and maybe get back to 500, but I just don't know that he's up to it. Plus primetime Kirk against this San Francisco team.
And here's the other problem too. What happens if they can't run?
Yeah,
and I mean, that's a very realistic question. That's not
Yep.
They've struggled. They've had 2 good games, 2 really solid games on the ground so far, and that's it. And they couldn't do it against the Bears. So if you can't run, Jefferson's out. What would you say your answer is?
What levels the field in this game is, and we aren't going to know until closer to game time, but if the Niners are without Deebo Samuel and Christian McCaffrey, and Trent Williams might not play, and there's some reports that because of the surface that they're especially nervous about playing on this artificial surface that's going to be replaced in like 4 months from now, that they might not play some of these guys. And if that happens, now the field is leveled a little bit, but you're also without Justin Jefferson. So It's not like you have your full allotment versus them.
Right.
But what's amazing is the Vikings offensive line is, I think, ranked number 1 PFF in run blocking grade, but they're like near the bottom in yardage, and they have no rushing touchdowns. So they only have like 20 rushing first downs on the season. So
it makes no sense.
Yeah, it
makes 0 sense.
All right, what are the Sharps saying about this game? This is from Action Network. The Vikings are 7-point underdogs at home. 82% of the bets are on the 49ers. 92% of the money is on the 49ers right now. So it's just a 49ers tsunami of betting activity.
That's good news if you're the Vikings, actually.
Yeah, usually when that many people are running in one direction, it tends to sort of pull back the other way. So in Kirk Cousins' career, he has started 40 games in primetime. And these are considered to be high-profile games, night playoffs, overseas, Saturday, sort of standalone games. Cousins is 16-23 straight up in those games, 15-25 against the spread. At night, he is 11-19 straight up, and 12-18 against the spread. So now lately it's been better. He's 4-3 straight up in primetime since the start of last season, but only 1-6 against the spread in primetime since the start of last season.
Interesting.
In his career, Cousins is 2-10 straight up and against the spread on Monday Night Football. His 2-10 mark straight up is the worst for any quarterback on Monday Night Football, and his teams average just 16 points per game in those games. The defense allows 25, so not amazing, but 16 points a game, not good on Monday Night Football.
No, that's interesting. Yeah, I mean, it's Kirk does deserve credit for overall guiding his team to more wins in prime time. I think the thing about the Sharps that makes me pause the most, though, is the fact that there is, and it's not surprising, so much money on San Francisco, right?
Yeah.
Because we've talked about that before. When that happens, it's ordinarily good news for the team that's getting crapped on. So that's interesting.
Cousins is 10-24 straight up against teams with a 75% win percentage, including 4-13 as a Viking. So when he plays the best teams, he loses. Now you would say they lose because it's a team game, but he's the most influential figure. Dating back to last season, the 49ers are 7-1 both straight up and against the spread in their last 8 games coming off a loss, which they are here. Now, when Shanahan is a favorite coming off a loss, he's only 9-7 straight up in his career. So a couple different trends there. How do road favorites perform at night? When you are a road favorite of a touchdown or more at night, Those teams are 34 and 43 against the spread the last 20 years. So that's a positive for the Vikings. I'll give you one more here. The Vikings have 0 rushing touchdowns entering week 7. They are the first team with 0 rushing touchdowns through 6 games since the 2017 Dolphins. So it's been 6 years since someone has gone this long without scoring a rushing touchdown.
And there's 2. That's incredible. Pittsburgh, too.
Pittsburgh, too.
So you have 2 teams for the first time. I didn't realize the drought was that long.
It's rough, man. It is rough.
Wow.
So we're going to make our official picks here in just a moment. Declan has texted in his picks. But let's shout out our friends over at Prize Picks. With Prize Picks, you can win up to 25 times your money this football season by selecting 2 or more players and picking more or less on their projected stats. So I'm looking right now. I'll even put this up here. You can see this.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I see Kirk Cousins' smiling face.
The more or less on Kirk in this game is 232.5 passing yards. Should old Macadac go more or less on 230? It's not a very high number. 232?
Go way more. I mean,
so?
This is a potential garbage time. Oh, God, yeah.
Oh, the garbage time. Yeah.
Oh, the fourth quarter. This guy could pass for 400 yards alone in the fourth quarter.
What about the Brock Purdy 236.5? Do I go more or less?
I'd probably go, well, Debo might not play.
It's tough, man.
I don't know on that one. The Cousins one, you got to go over.
Yeah. So jump in. Prize Picks. They also now offer Apple Pay for quick and easy deposits into your account this football season. It's the easy way to play daily fantasy. Go to prizepicks.com/purpledaily and use the code purpledaily for first deposit up to $100. They'll match it. prizepicks.com/purpledaily, code purpledaily for a first deposit match up to $100. Also, Judd, tell the audience about our friends at Livia. Holiday season's coming up. You can maybe take a chunk out of that weight here leading into the holidays.
You can feel great. And you know what? I could tell you right now that a couple of years ago, I dropped 40 pounds through this program. I could tell you all about the benefits. I could tell you about a deal right now that's available, which is your first 3 months, if you sign up now, are going to be for free. All of those things are awesome, and all of those things are true. But I want to tell you about our friend Steve, okay? So about a year or so ago, or a little more than a year perhaps, Steve sent me a note, and he's like, Judd, I've heard your endorsements. Does Livia Weight Control Centers work? And I'm like, absolutely. He's like, I want to lose a lot of weight. I'm like, you got to try it, and you're going to find it works. And I said, make sure to check in with me occasionally after you join for updates. Well, on Sunday, I got this note from Steve. He is now 1 pound from his goal, 1 pound away. He needs to lose 1 pound. And you're saying, okay, yeah, but how much did Steve have to lose? Steve weighed 316 pounds and he's lost 98 pounds. So he's lost almost 100 pounds. So like I can tell you about these stories, but I think that they really hit home when they are focused on. And congratulations, Steve. This is what Livia Weight Control Centers can do for you. And you know what? You might be trying to lose 30 pounds. I don't know, but they're going to help you. So guys, if you're procrastinating, stop right now. 3 months for free. 855-GO-LIVIA, livia.com, livea.com. If you're outside the state, that's fine. All can be done virtually. Again, your weight loss journey starts at Livia, livea.com.
All right, let's make our official picks here. So Declan has texted in his. Okay. The 49ers are a 7-point favorite in this game. Declan said it's going to be like a 2-touchdown win for the Niners. So he's got the Niners winning straight up. He's got the Niners covering the 7. I should also say straight up this season, you and Declan are both 4-2. I'm 2-4, just picking the Vikings straight up. Against the spread, you are 3-3. Declan and I are both 2-4. So I'm struggling mightily in all of these categories. So Dex has the Niners winning and covering the 7. Who wins, who covers for you? Who wins and by how much?
San Francisco wins. I'm more torn on if they're going to cover. San Francisco wins, and I think they cover. Yeah, I think they do cover. It's tough. Now, look, the Vikings are at home, and it's corny as it sounds. No one believes in them, which will be used in their locker room. Yeah. But for the purposes of trying to be as realistic as possible, yes, I'm with Declan.
Man, I feel like strategically I should go against you guys on one of these, but I told you earlier this week, this feels like they had 2 or 3 of these games last year. Actually, if you count that Colts game, the first half of the Colts game, where they just get barraged by a team, and it's happened at home. This feels like that to me. The Niners coming off a loss, even if they're without a piece or two.
Yeah.
That's such a well put together team on both sides of the ball. Trenches. It's a mismatch. I think the Vikings get smoked in this game. I'm sorry. And maybe it's the message they need to sort of just take an organizational deep breath and reset things. But I've got the Niners winning the game, and I've got the Niners winning by a lot. So we all have Niners winning over the Vikings. Bunch of haters here on Purple Daily.
We could be absolutely wrong. Hopefully we are, for the Vikings' sake.
You're the most torn on whether it's going to be a close game, so I'll give you at least that much. I don't think it's going to be a close game, but we'll see.
I just have a weird feeling. Like, I've just seen so many teams in this town when you like want to write them off. Stick a hand out of the grave. The hand comes jutting out of the grave, very Halloween-like, and I'm not dead yet.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I also I have no read on this team this year from week to week. Just like I'm 2-4 picking games straight up. So fade whatever I say. Don't listen to what I say. So thank you guys for hanging out with us. Purple Daily presented by Quick Trip, where we just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die. We'll see you guys tomorrow.